Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're going to be looking at the talked about Devil Cup by Gabriel Werlen. Now in this review, as always, I'm not going to be addressing all the drama with the trailer and everything like that. We're going to be reviewing the product for what it is and giving you the most possible information about Devil's Cups before you make your purchase or decide not to make your purchase on the product. Enough said, let's roll the intro and get straight into it. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about the Devil's Cups. Now, what is the Devil Cup? The Devil Cup is essentially a routines that you do with a few cups and a few dice, and you're able to discern under what cup is a certain dice placed by the spectator. Now, what better way to explain it to you than to present it to you? So what I'm going to do here is going to be two of the routines in the project put together in a bigger routine so that it builds up and plays as an actual progressive routine. And also, since I'm alone here, keep in mind that the effect isn't going to be good because I'm going to be the one mixing the cups, so it's going to be a bit counterintuitive, or there's going to be no magical moment when I'm able to discern under what cup is the die because, well, I'm the one mixing them since I have no spectator, but I still think that me showing you a performance of how it would play out is still worth noting. So I would introduce here from this small package, I would introduce here a set of 4 die and a few cups. And I'm introduced to the spec that for this we're only going to use 3 cups and these 4 dice. And for them to select any one of these dice, the one that they like. So let's say they like the blue. So I say, perfect, we'll place that to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place these cups just like this on the table, and we're going to number them. We're going to put a number 1 here, a number 3 here, and a number 2 here, so that we have them numbered 1, 2, 3, because we're going to mix them in a moment regarding those numbers. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to give you the spectator has the die, but you take it back and you tell them, what I'm going to have you do is place the die under any one of the cups, and then we're going to mix them. And when I say mix them, I mean just take them on the table, and we're going to rotate their position on the table. You understand? Perfect. So do that. So your back would be turned away and the spectator would do that. Now, of course, it doesn't make much sense that I'm doing it, but still. So your back would be turned, they place it under anyone, and you tell them, perfect. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 empty cups and you're going to change their position. So the 2 empty cups, you change their position. Have you done that? Perfect. Now you're going to take, let's say, cup 1 and 3, and you're going to rotate their positions. So they do that. Cup 1 and 3, they rotate their position. And then you tell them, when that's done, I want you to take the dice from the top of the cups so that I can't see anything, and keep them in your hand. So then you turn back and you tell them, great. So now your die is under one of these cups. So I want you to look at each cup with me and just think, stop if I hit your cup. Just think it. Do not say it out loud. Just think it. I felt it. I felt it here. So your die has to be under that cup. Now you may say that's a bit of chance, so let's do it again. Now I'll want you as the spectator to number the cups from 1, 2, 3 from either side that you want. So from left to right or from right to left. So the spectator would do that, and he would put any die to represent any number. And then you turn back and you tell him, we'll do the same thing. Place your die under any one of the cups. Let's say we do it here. And now we're going to do as before, change the position of the 2 empty cups. And then let's say change the position of number 3 and 2. So they would do that. And then you tell them, perfect, so remove the dice from the top. And now you turn around. And now you're able to discern, for what method that you want, that the die is under that cup. Now you tell them, now we're going to push this experiment a bit further. We're going to ditch these 3 dice because I don't want you to think that those play a role in anything. Now we're going to add a cup here. So we're going to use your 4 cups and your die. So I'm going to have you place your die under any one of these cups. So you turn around and they do so. Let's say they place it there. Now you tell them, I want you to take any 2 of the empty cups and move their positions. Now you have 1 cup that's empty that you haven't moved, correct? I want you to take that empty cup and move it with any one of the others that you've moved previously. Now what I want you to do is I want you to lift up the cup at the end, at the the edge on the left and the cup on the edge on the right. And I want you to change their position. So not switch them on the table, lift them up and change their positions. Have you done that? Perfect. Now that that's done, I want you to mix the cups in ever which way that you want. Okay, so they're gonna do that. And then when they're done, you turn around and you tell them, perfect. So now my job is going to be to discern under which cup is your die. But first, I have to discern which 3 of these cups are empty and then discern under which cup is your die. So look at me. So if this works, this has to be empty, 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 and that means that your die is underneath that cup. So that is a bit of a longer routine of the Devil's Cups that plays upon a few routines in the tutorial, and I've kind of built them together and implemented a few different things to make it play a bit better. Now, having said that, let's talk shop. So where do you buy this? How much does it cost? And what do you get? So you can buy this pretty much everywhere. I've seen it in stock and out of stock. It keeps fluctuating at different shops, but it's available at Vanishing Ink, ALAKAZAM, and all your favorite magic dealers. Of course, if you want to purchase this from ALAKAZAM, there's a discount code in the description box. Moving on, this costs $40 US, so $39.99 US, which is a bit of a steep price for what you're getting. We're going to talk about that a bit before we get into the rest of the review, so keep that in mind. But what you're getting for this is you're getting a box. My box got a bit banged up in the shipping, so I didn't bring it out here because it literally looks like it went through World War II. But on top of that, you are getting this small kind of container to carry your cups. You're getting these kind of mixing cups. I believe this is aluminum. They're not metal, I think, but you're getting these. And then you're also getting a few dice. Personally, I changed mine because I wanted to add some other colors, and I wanted to add a 4th one to make it play for the type of routine that I like to do, which was the one that you saw. And on top of all of this, you're also getting your instructional video, which is around 28 or 26 minutes long, and it goes over a few routines, how this works, the principle at play for most of the routines, because in the review, I'm going to refer to this in 2 parts. When I say the Devil's Cups, I will refer to the 4-cup routine that you saw at the end. And when I refer to the green neck system cups, I'm going to be referring to the 3-cup variation. Because for those that don't know, the 3-cup variation is something that he published in his book, The Green Neck System, which, has this principle in the book. And basically, if you own the book, you know how the first 2 phases of this effect work and much more. So I'll be referring to them as the Green Neck System and the Devil's Cups, just so you know for the review, okay? But this teaches you everything that you need to know in the tutorial. So now that I've mentioned that, I do want to mention a few miscellaneous things. The first thing I want to mention is that these cups have certain properties to them. These are ungimmicked, this is ungimmicked, but these cups have a certain something that's going to let you be able to know 2 cups from other 2 cups, right? It's pretty obvious what that is, but the way it's done is very subtle, so much so that even in the tutorial, he puts stickers on the cups so you know which are which, because it is that discernible. Now, in lighting conditions like I have here, a top light, a beaming light, it's super easy to know which is which. If I'm doing it somewhere with really good light, it's super easy. However, for me, because I have a bit of a poor eyesight, if the lighting is a bit dim, I do have an issue discerning which cup is which, okay? And I know that some people do have some bad eyesight, and for a lot of products, they're worried. And it's a question that they ask a lot on forums and comment sections. And I want to address that from the start. If you have a bit of a bad eyesight in certain dimmer lighting conditions, you will have problems with this. However, you can adapt the principle that you're going to learn here to any other object. So you can do this with coffee cups, coffee mugs, whatever you want. You're going to be able to do this yourself with any other objects or products that you want to do it with, okay? So it's not really an issue. You're not stuck to doing this with just these cups, right? We're going to talk about that. I'll give you some ideas a bit later on in the review how you can do this for stage and parlor by not using this. But yeah, you can get around with it, but if you really like these cups and you really want to do it with just these cups, keep in mind that in certain lighting conditions, it's going to be a bit hard to see. Second of all, I did mention that the price is a bit steep, and usually I know this is frowned upon because there's work, there's effort put behind the ideas at play here. But I just want to mention that since basically everything in this project, apart from the last routine, which is the Devil's Cups, the one with the 4 cups, is in his book, The Green Neck System. And that book is just $10 more than this. And in that book, you're learning 10 times the amount of effects than you are with this. So you're learning everything that I did before the 4 cup routine in that book and more. And I feel that this is so expensive that you may just be better off going for the book than this, in my opinion. I know it's frowned upon to do this, but at least I'm comparing 2 products from the same creator, so at least you're investing in the same person, whether you buy this or the book, and it's not like I'm pitching a product from somewhere else, from someone else instead of Gabriel. So I'm at least comparing 2 of his own products together. So I think that makes it passable. So that's the 2 things that I wanted to mention before we get into the review. So continuing on, let's talk about difficulty. So the difficulty of this is easy. So whether it's the Green Neck version or the Devil's Cups version, for the Green Neck, there's nothing you have to do. It's basically self-working. You can be blindfolded. You can have things in your ears, whatever. You can do this even on a call from another room. So the Green Neck system version will work no matter what. Similarly, the Devil's Cup version will work no matter what, but the reveal and a bit of the procedure takes a bit more work than the Devil's Cup routine, than the Green Neck routine with the 3 cups. So the 4 cup routine does require a bit more language, and you have to ensure as well, as you saw in the performance, at one point your spectators have to lift the cups and switch them. So you have to be very vocal about that, and you have to be sure that they don't just do this and then they switch the objects too, right? So there's a bit more language involved in that routine, so you do have to learn a bit of pattern. And for the reveal as well, there is a principle at play that a lot of mentalism know regarding such a reveal. So you do need a bit more performance chops to perform the 4 cup routine rather than the 3 one, but both of them are easy nonetheless. Let's talk about practicality. Is this effect practical? Now, to perform this, of course, you're going to have to carry around these 4 cups and your 3 die or whatever you want to do. For me, it's 4 inside of the provided pouch that they give to you. So this is what you carry around. It's not big, right? So you can definitely put this in your pocket or anywhere and you can carry it around with you, right? So practicality carrying wise, it's not that bad, right? But you do need a table for this. So no matter what you do, you will need a table. So you will always need a table, and you'll need a bit of space on the table because you don't want to do this where there's plenty of things, platters, food on the table, and then you're doing this like in this much space with the cups glued together and the people are moving them like this. You know, you want to have a bit of space on your performing surface to get the best out of this. So you will have to keep that in mind. Also, as I mentioned, if your eyesight is not the best, dim lighting conditions may be a bit of an issue for certain people. You have to keep that in mind. Regarding the reset is instant inspectability. Everything is inspectable. Yeah, I doubt that anyone will find anything, especially since only the cups have something going on with them and it's pretty much imperceptible. So inspectability wise, you are good as well. Angle wise, you are good as well. There's literally no angles regarding this whatsoever. So practicality wise, it is quite good. Moving on to where to perform this. So where would you perform this? So in my opinion, this would play well in parlor or stage, but not with this. So if you have a bit of creativity, or for example, if you've seen Rune Clan's show, Barnlos, in that he does something similar to this, but with garbage cans and a basketball. So you can see how you can use the principle once you own this, or if you own the book, how you can apply that principle to other objects and make it play bigger, right? So you can definitely do this on stage. You have like 4 garbage cans, black garbage cans and a basketball, and you ask your spectator to place it under any one of the bins, and then you go through the shuffling procedure, etc., and you make this play out for a large crowd on stage. And since the props are so big, you know, as the spectator runs around to mix them up, it makes it funny, it makes it entertaining, and it makes it enjoyable for everyone. So yes, you can make it on stage with bigger props. For parlor as well, you're not obliged to use these. You can use shaker cups. So instead of using these small cups, you can buy a set of 4 shaker cups, and you use this with large shaker cups. And maybe instead of using dice, you could maybe use apples, or maybe you can use different fruits. Now, I am saying this with the knowledge that I know from the book, so I could see how, with the knowledge I have from the book, I could make this work. But if you just buy this, maybe you're going to have a harder time to discern exactly how that would work more effectively if you don't have the book. But nonetheless, for parlor as well, you can make this work differently than just with this. And now for close-up, yes, you will have to use this. For close-up, you can use it, but personally, I would not use this for close-up. So if I'm at a wedding and I'm table hopping or restaurant table hopping, anything like that, I would not use this table hopping. Personally, I think it takes too much space. And I don't think the effect is worth it to bother people on their table and move things around to perform this. Personally, I don't think it's worth it at all for that. But if you're in a bar, or if you're in a one-on-one, or if you're somewhere, eating with someone and it's a one-on-one, or you're in a small group, you can definitely pull these out and do it in a small close-up scenario. Yes, of course. So casual performances, you can do this, but I do think this would play better in parlor stage with other objects than this by using the actual principle itself, which is why I kept saying this a bit. I'm more inclined to tell you to go buy out the book, and once you learn the book, you can apply whatever you want to different things. For example, in the book, there's a routine that I love that I still use with 3 blank business cards, and the spectators draw one drawing on one of the business cards that is their drawing, and then they draw 2 random drawings. And then you're able to discern which one is theirs and which of the 2 are random. Or if you want to do this with 3 spectators, which one is the one that you assign to the spectator 1, and which one are the intruder images from the other spectators, etc. So in the book, there's a lot of different routines like these that you can apply, and that would work better in a table hopping environment, for example. There's one that uses cutlery in the book. So of course, in a table, you can use the cutlery and do it with the cutlery, and it's going to work great. So nonetheless, where to perform, I would say you can pretty much perform this version, parlor or stage, with different props, or in casual one-on-one environments, or in small groups in certain social settings. So having said all of that, what are the positives and negatives of this? So let's start with the negatives. So what are the negatives of the Devil Cups? Well, one of the negatives is that I feel this doesn't work well for performers that go table hopping and go from table to table. I just don't think that this is a routine that they are going to perform. Second of all, I've seen people mention, the shuffling procedure doesn't really make sense, right? Wouldn't you just turn your head, ask the spectator to place it under any of the cups and then mix them? Why do you have them lift cups up? Why do you have them mix all of that together? And that is a valid criticism to a point, and I do agree with it somewhat. But I do think that the way it's explained in the tutorial makes it make sense, albeit a bit more than just what we make it seem to be as magicians. I do think it has some value, but I do know that for some people that is a negative. A third negative is that, of course, under certain lighting conditions, if your eyesight isn't as good, you may have a problem discerning just with these cups. If you apply it to other things, that's going to fix your issues, but to these cups, you may have some issues to see what's going on. So what about the positives? What are the positives of this? The positives are that the tutorial is very good. Second of all, the routines can build upon each other. Not all of them, but they can build upon each other, and they do have some variation in them. There's one that has a prediction in play, right, that you can incorporate into this. So there's a few things that you can do here and mix up within the routines. It also has no angles, issues, setups, etc. I think the major positives of this is that if you own this and you know the principle at play, you could apply this to other things, as I mentioned, to do it for parlor and stage with bigger props and make it play for a larger audience and make it more fun and entertaining. So I think that is the major positive here, is once you know the system, if you don't have the book Green X System and you still don't want to buy it, and let's say you bought this, just knowing the principle for the first phases is enough for you to be able to think and apply it to different things. So that is the major positive for this product, in my opinion. So having said all of this, let's talk shop and say, do I recommend this and what would I rate it out of 10? So would I recommend the Devil's Cups? And in all honesty, I would say no. I would say you're better off spending $10 more and buy the book, right? So I think I've said that a few times already, and it may be redundant, but I do think that buying the book is just a better option for $10 more. Yes, you're not going to learn the variation that uses the 4 cups, but I do think that you're going to learn a much vaster knowledge and something that you're probably going to use a lot more in the book, and it's just $10 more. So I don't think that these cups and the dice provided to you are worth not getting the book. So I don't necessarily recommend this. I recommend you go out and buy his book or books. I think he has a special where you can buy both books, the 1 and the 2 together. So what would I rate this out of 10? Now, I don't hate this as much as certain other people do, but it's not something great. I won't be going out and being like, wow, I can't wait to go show my friends this. There's other things that I'd rather show them. So overall, I do think it's a good effect, but I don't think it's a wow or a great effect. I'm going to give it a 6.75 on 10. So that's all I have to say about the Devil's Cup. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope this was informative. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next review.